They say kindness doesn't always guarantee loyalty. I learned that the hard way from a boy I once called family. My name is Daniel, a businessman, husband, and father of two. And this is a story of how my act of compassion nearly destroyed my peace, and how karma reminded me that every seed we plant always comes back to us. It all started one rainy Monday morning. The sky was dark, the roads muddy, and Lagos traffic was as ruthless as ever. I was driving to the old part town, a place where poverty wasn't hidden behind gates, where you could see struggle on every face. I was heading to one of my retail outlets to inspect deliveries when I noticed something unusual. By the roadside, under a leaking umbrella stand, stood a young man, maybe in his early 20s. He was drenched to the bone, shivering, clutching a small nylon bag that looked barely waterproof. People were walking past him like he didn't exist. But something in me refused to. I slowed down, rolled down my window. "Hey, young man, are you all right?" He turned, startled. "Yes, sir, I'm fine." But his voice trembled, not from fear, but from cold. His eyes told the truth, tired, hungry, and defeated. I asked where he was going. He said he had just come from the village to look for work. No relatives, no friends, no plan. There was a pause. Then I said the words that changed both our lives. "Get in. I'll drop you off somewhere safe." He hesitated, then slowly opened the back door and sat down, dripping water all over my leather seats. I could feel his gratitude in the silence. When we reached my store, I told my supervisor to give him food. He devoured the meal like someone who hadn't eaten properly in days. When I asked his name, he said softly, "My name is Chinedu, sir. Thank you for your kindness." He had this humility about him, the kind you rarely see anymore. So I asked, "Can you read and write?" "A little, sir. I finished secondary school, but couldn't further. My parents died early." That hit me. Something in my chest told me, help him. That evening, I drove him home. My wife, Tola, met us at the door, confused. "Honey, who's this?" I smiled. "This is Chinedu. I found him stranded today. I'll let him work for us, help around the house." She frowned. "You just brought a total stranger into our home?" "Relax, dear. I'll keep an eye on him." That night, Chinedu slept in the boys' quarters. By morning, he was up before everyone else, cleaning the compound, washing the cars, even helping my daughter pack her school bag. Within a week, he became part of the rhythm of our home. Every morning, he greeted us with, "Good morning, sir. Good morning, Ma." And every night, he checked the locks and lights before sleeping. He was polite, hardworking, obedient. Even our neighbors began to say, "Ah, Mr. Daniel, you are lucky. Boys like this are rare these days." I agreed. For once, I felt like my act of kindness was bearing good fruit. Over the next 6 months, Chinedu became like family. When I traveled, he watched over the house. When I got home late, he made sure my dinner was warm. Even my wife began to say, "He's a good boy, Daniel. Maybe God sent him to repay your kindness." I increased his salary to 60,000 naira a month, almost double what others paid their domestic staff. I bought him new clothes, gave him access to the pantry, and even allowed him to eat with us sometimes. He would often say, "Sir, I don't know how to thank you. You changed my life." And I'd smile and say, "Just stay honest and keep working hard. That's thanks enough." If only I knew how wrong I was. The change didn't happen overnight. It came quietly, like a slow infection. One evening, I noticed he was wearing a flashy wristband and tight jeans, not his usual simple clothes. "Chinedu, you're looking sharp. Oh, who's sponsoring this new fashion?" He laughed shyly. "Ah, boss, one of my friends sells clothes. He'd give me on credit." It sounded innocent enough. But over the weeks, I noticed other things. He spent longer on his phone, whispering into it at odd hours. Sometimes I'd catch him staring at my wristwatch or the new car parked in the garage. Tola noticed too. "Daniel, I don't like the way that boy looks at your things. He's beginning to act differently." "You women and suspicion," I replied, brushing it off. "He's just young. Maybe he's excited about city life. But one night, I woke up to faint footsteps outside our bedroom door. When I opened it, I saw a shadow moving quickly down the hallway. By the time I called out, "Who's there?" the shadow disappeared. I told myself it was probably nothing, but something had changed in my gut. One Saturday morning, I was packing for a business trip to Abuja. I removed my gold Rolex, a limited edition piece given to me by a business partner after we closed our biggest deal. I placed it in the top drawer of my wardrobe and locked it. Before leaving, I told Chinidu to keep the house in order. He smiled. "Safe journey, sir." When I returned 2 days later, I unpacked my bag and went to the drawer just to check on the watch. The key turned. The drawer opened. Empty. At first, I thought maybe I misplaced it. I searched everywhere, wardrobe, safe, even under the bed. Nothing. I called my wife. She hadn't touched it. Only 3 people ever entered that room, myself, Tola, and Chinidu. I called him immediately. "Chinidu, please come." He appeared, holding a towel, looking calm. "Sir, did you enter my room while I was away?" "Yes, sir. I cleaned as usual. Did you see a gold wristwatch anywhere?" He blinked, just once, but I saw it, that flicker of panic. "No, sir, I didn't see any wristwatch." His tone was smooth, too smooth. "All right, you can go." But deep down, I already knew. 2 days passed. I tried to convince myself it was just a misunderstanding. Then came the call. It was Mr. Bayo, owner of a jewelry shop I often patronized. "Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. Do you know someone named Chinidu?" My heart dropped. "Yes." "Why?" "He's here trying to sell a gold Rolex, the exact one you wore last month. I found it strange and decided to call you." I gripped the phone tighter. "Don't let him leave. I'm on my way." When I arrived, 2 policemen were already there. Chinidu sat in the corner, handcuffed, head bowed. He looked nothing like the humble boy I'd once rescued. The officer said he confessed he'd stolen the key from my jacket pocket while doing laundry, opened a drawer, and took the wristwatch. He planned to sell it to start a business. But the jeweler noticed how nervous he was and called the police. I walked up to him, trembling with rage. "Why, Chinidu? Why would you do this to me?" He began to cry. "I'm sorry, sir. Everyone around me says you're rich. I just wanted to change my life. I didn't mean to hurt you. And you thought stealing from me was the way to do that?" I turned and walked away. He called after me, "Sir, please forgive me. Please." But I didn't look back. That day, something inside me broke. Chinidu was charged and sentenced to 6 months in prison. His family came from the village, begging, crying, calling it the devil's work. But I didn't attend the hearing. At home, my wife tried to comfort me. "You did your best, Daniel. Don't let this destroy your kindness." But it was hard. Every night, I'd look at the empty servants' quarters and feel a hollow ache in my chest. I kept asking myself, where did I go wrong? I had trusted him, mentored him, lifted him up, and in return, he stabbed me with betrayal. Months passed. Life moved on. I buried myself in work, trying to forget. Then one afternoon, my security guard walked into my office. "Boss, one-man day outside." He say him name Chinidu. I froze. When I stepped out, I almost didn't recognize him. He was thin, pale, with scars on his face. He fell to his knees immediately. "Sir, please forgive me. Prison humbled me. I lost everything. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I came to thank you, because that experience changed me." I stood silently. "Chinidu, you don't owe me anything, but I hope you've learned that shortcuts only lead to pain." He nodded, tears streaming. "Yes, sir. I'll never forget." I gave him 5,000 naira for transport and told him to start over honestly. He left quietly. I thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. 2 months later, one of my delivery trucks was hijacked on its way to the warehouse. Inside, 4,800,000 naira worth of electronics. The police traced the culprits. Guess who was among them? Chinidu, apparently, After prison, he fell in with an old cellmate who promised him quick money. Together, they set up a fake company that lured drivers to deliver goods, then stole the cargo. When the police arrested them, Chinidu confessed everything. When I heard, I couldn't believe it. This same boy I forgave and helped again, had become worse. He wasn't stealing because of hunger anymore. He was stealing because greed had become his nature. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. This time, there was no begging, no mercy, no explanations. But something strange happened during his trial. He asked to speak to me. They allowed him. In the courtroom, he looked at me with hollow eyes and said, "Sir, you were the only one who ever treated me like a human being. I don't know why I keep destroying my blessings. I think it's a curse." And for the first time, I didn't feel anger. I felt pity. "No, Chinidu, it's not a curse. It's choice. Every man chooses who he becomes." He nodded slowly, tears dripping down his cheeks as they led him away. That was the last time I saw him. Years later, business grew. My children became adults. We moved to a bigger house. Sometimes, when I drive past that same street where I met him, I'd remember that rainy morning, and I'd think, maybe I was meant to meet him, not to save him, but to learn that not every broken person wants healing. Some are comfortable with chaos, and you can't pour your peace into someone determined to live in storms. They say karma never forgets an address. For Chinidu, it came swiftly, not to destroy him, but to teach him. And for me, it was a lesson in boundaries, trust, and discernment. So if you're listening to this story today, remember, kindness is powerful, but it must be wise. Forgiveness is noble, but it doesn't mean foolishness. Be good, but be discerning, because not everyone who calls you boss truly wishes you well. In life, you can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you let their actions shape you. Be kind, but never blind.